Welcome into the live Dallas Cowboys Report. I am Tom Downey. Today's show presented by Aura, the all-in-one digital safety tool. They're giving you guys a free 14-day trial over at aura.com/chatsports. Tell you more about them later on in today's show, but we're live right now on YouTube, Facebook, and Rumble. So our pin poll question of the day, over or under 11.5 wins for the Cowboys in 2022. O for over, U for under. If you're watching on YouTube, you can vote on the poll. I think it's 10 to 11 wins. I don't think they're going to get 12 wins this year. That's a lot of wins for a team that did not get better this offseason. Toxic Tom Downey burner account says under, but Rashard Lee, Jaden Gomez, Daniel Moriarty, Creighton Johnson, Sack 77, all typing in their overs. You're really going to go dual cam, Jeremy?
Of course I am.
We have given you too much power.
I'm giving the people what they want, Tom.
Literally nobody wants this.
I'm giving the people what they
This
want.
is not what they want. Not what they want. Also, you're in timeout because your team changed their logo and it sucks now. That Eagles title bar change, it's terrible.
You hate it?
It's worse. It's worse.
I don't know. Maybe Tom will like the second Dallas team's new logo.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later on because Jerry chimed in too. I see other overs coming in from Zeno Sayin, unders from Chris Taylor, Raul Morales, Chris Taylor again. And somebody says we do want that, Tom. Zeno Sayin says we want it. Chris Taylor says nine games, and my burner account, one of the many at this point, says nice shirt, Jeremy. So there you go. Super chat, by the way, coming in from Brett Allstain. Thank you, Brett. Appreciate it. By the way, I'll drink for any and all super chats that come in because it's June, so why not? You don't need a beer, Jeremy. You're producing. Tom, do you still have your custom jacket from the Kashiyama suit? Yes, I do. I wear it to any and all weddings that I go to. It's perfect. Cheers, Brett.
Yeah, that's how you
also,
know.
This is also known as the cool Brett.
Yeah, that.
I'm not paying attention.
As everybody can see, Tom's now a dad, so he's a major fun killer now. Doesn't want me to drink.
Yeah, be a responsible adult, Jeremy. Nadia says, how do you get 11.5 wins? You don't. That's why it's over or under. Got to pick whether they have more or less. So no ties allowed in the end because ties are un-American. You can keep your votes coming over under 11.5 wins in 2022. The Cowboys, I will make notes, did not go the full 3 days of mandatory minicamp. They had their practice the first day, played Top Golf on the second day, and then just canceled day 3 and chose to have the rookies do a workout there. So are you okay with canceling the rest of minicamp? Why for yes and for no? It's not that unusual, by the way. All right, Jeremy, what do you want to say?
Who needs practice? You know, y'all did so well last season. You're already at the top of the mountain. You don't need more practice.
You do realize the Eagles canceled their entire minicamp, right?
I'm just saying.
Okay. So your argument just kind of fell apart in your face, I think, a little bit there. So, anyway,
I was not being sarcastic
Jeremy,
at all.
I assume everything you say is sarcasm.
No.
I'm right more often.
We actually have a couple super chats as well, Tom.
We can get to those. How about you read off the Randy one? Read it off.
Let's see.
It's a super chat. You have to do it right.
From Randy Stites. He says the Eagles still
stink, but that's fine. Close enough there, Mr. Grammar Jeremy. Thank you for the super chat, Randy. I'll drink for that one and for Toxic Tom Downey Burner.
The Rico Gathers effect is real. Hashtag Vasher.
That's Sky in the profile picture, by the way. I think it might be. I'm not sure what the Rico Gathers effect is. Is it random guy gets overhyped?
I think it's random guy.
That's the way I'm taking it.
I think random guy gets overhyped during the summer and then doesn't make any impact in the fall.
I think that's not outlandish. I think part of the Rico effect is local kid. Played at one of the Big 12 schools. Undrafted, big size. That's what it is there. Are you guys okay canceling the rest of minicamp? Why for yes and for no? And Jeremy has a troll one here. He's like, over there, I hear him typing, going, type. Then he goes, and I go, what'd you do, Jeremy? He goes, nothing. I'm like, okay, you're a liar, Chugs.
Guys, it's National Fresh Veggies Day. Me and Chase loving today. Tom, not so much. Tom doesn't eat any vegetables. Please let him know in the comments.
I do eat some vegetables.
Does he need to eat more vegetables?
I eat some vegetables. We had the salad the other day at the office. I mean, it's surrounded in bread, but still, there's lettuce in there.
Tom eats maybe
Look,
you
in
can count on your
general-
fingers how many vegetables Tom eats.
In general, that is rabbit food. I am not a bunny. I eat real food, all right? I eat the rabbit, all right? Not like the rabbit specifically, but
Oh, so you're eating
I don't eat the food that my food eats.
Okay.
Tracks, right?
Not really, but I
It
don't know. I don't think it works like that.
It absolutely does. Carrots are good though. Carrots are good.
Tom will eat carrots covered in ranch.
I actually don't like carrots and ranch. I prefer just carrots, and they can't be cooked. Cooked carrots suck. You can keep the Y's and no's or Y's and N's coming, I should say. Frank Gonzalez says no, but Gary and Rusty say yes in there. Excuse me. Now this actually ties in pretty well, I think there, Jeremy. It is best shape of life season. If you are in the best shape of your life, type in me. If you are not in the best shape of your life, also type in me, because that's the gloriousness of best shape of life season. No matter what, you are in the best shape of your life. Even if you've added 300 pounds of weight, it's fine. Best shape of life season. You can't be wrong. So type in me, and we'll give some shout-outs. Jeremy, are you in the best shape of your life?
Of course I am.
Exactly. I am. Chase is. Even Sam is in the best shape of his life. So keep the me's coming in here if you are in the best shape of your life. Jeffrey Snow gets it.
I'm in the best shapes of my life.
Best shapes? Good, I like that one. I see Bo Nord says me. Tom Downey says round is a shape. Yes. Gary says me. Creighton Johnson says me. Red Eyes Man says me. Jaden Gomez says me. Zeno says not me, but you are. That is the gloriousness of best shape of life season. No matter what, you've never been in better shape. You may have even grown a half inch, like CeeDee Lamb claims, which, okay. Shiny Cardboard Legend says me. Boondock Saints says me. Raul Morales says me. Jeffrey Snow says me. King Trill says me. Rusty Flores, Jimmy Rogers, Barbara, all typing in there me. Sack77 says me. He's on YouTube and Rumble right now. Say what, Jeremy? The round is a shape? Oh, Jarrett from Toxic Tom Downey burner account. Jeremy's favorite machine at the gym is the vending machine. Jeremy liked that one. Food Review said squat at 315. Yeah, I mean, you're in the best shape of your life too, Food. From Yeehaw, our resident Cowboys and Ravens fan. Howdy, Tom. Is it possible for Texas to get a third team? If so, which city would most likely be that team's home? The ones that have been mentioned are San Antonio and Austin. In the end, I think no, because A, you've got a good portion of the state that, like, as you go further and further out west, you're not going to put a football team there. But I don't think the Cowboys or Texans would want that very much.
No, I don't think so. I think Oklahoma gets a team before Texas gets a third team.
I could see that. Or they eventually establish the overseas team in some capacity. But I would agree. I don't think Texas gets a third team.
Canadian team? Did you know that?
We can call them the Montreals.
Funny fact. Did you know a team from the U.S. has won the Grey Cup, the Canadian Football League's Super Bowl, more recent than a Canadian team has won the NHL
Stanley Cup.
The Stanley Cup. There it is.
And that's your sport, Canada. That's why you suck.
If
there are any Canadians watching, I kind of apologize.
Did you know that?
But I did not know that. No, that actually is very, very crazy from that standpoint. Bottoms up, Yeehaw. I'll drink for any and all supers today. All right, this came in from the super chat from Toxic Tom Downey burner account, kind of. Pick a wide receiver. You have to pick one to play a role or you think will play a role for this team. TJ for TJ Vasher or SF for Sima Fehoko. The correct answer is the one who was drafted, and that's Fehoko, even though both guys have done nothing so far and are total unknowns as it relates to what NFL impact they'll actually be able to have. But I see SFs from Yeehaw, from Bo Nord, from Sergio, Creighton Johnson, Raul Morales, and Enormous West. Roy Williams says TJ, as does Daniel Moriarty. Vince, Jimmy Rogers, Steven, Jaden Gomez, SFs. King Shadow says SF. Zeno says TJ. Jeffrey Snow says TJ. David Lugo, I was thinking about making fun of Mitch and tried not to and did it anyway. David Lugo says SF. Jeremy SF. Bruce SF. Red Eyes Man says the better player, but yes, who is the better player? That's the question here. Keep those comments coming. SF for Sima Fayoko or TJ for TJ Vasher. Would you trade for Robert Quinn? We'll spend some time on that in the rumors portion of today's show. A simple Y for yes and N for no. And Mark, by the way, my boy, I see your super chat. We will get to that during the mailbag. It's a good question on McCarthy and whatnot. We'll break that down in the mailbag, so stick around, Mark. Would you trade for Robert Quinn? Y for yes, N for no. Let's see. I got yeses from Zeno and Daniel and Yekal. If Cheap, Creighton, Raul, Jimmy, Bruce, and Ormus all say yes. But King Shadow, Bo Nord, King Trill say no. What's up? Yeah, but, King Shadow. There you go. That's how the word but works, Jeremy. Jesus Christ. Is that all you have to contribute? Okay, fine. Brett, I see your super chat as well. We can get to that one during the mailbag as well, or we can do it now. I'll leave it up to Jeremy. We'll do it in the mailbag, Brett, so stick around for that one. And I'll drink during those as part of the mailbag too. But if you want us to get today's show started, show it by liking this video. We have a month-long likes challenge here at Chat Sports, and live videos count as part of that. And the Raiders Report, it is a cheater, but deal with it, Jeremy. That's why my channel's cool. The Raiders Report is beating us on that front, so help us out. Like the video right now. We have only 40 likes and almost 200 people watching. Jeremy said he wants to get to 69. Don't blame me, Chase. That's Jeremy saying it, not me. I take no responsibility for the immaturity of my producer here. 51 likes. I don't have faith in him, Jeremy. I don't have faith in him.
Hey, I think they can do them. Tom has no faith, but I think y'all can do it.
First time you've ever been nice to the audience. First time ever for you.
Hey, there's a first for everything.
There is.
Tom was saying how much he loved it.
You'll understand that one day once you're older.
Yeah, Tom was saying that he loved the Eagles before he came on. I don't know.
Now that's a lie. That is an absolute lie. That is so much cap here. Get your likes in here. Let's break down what we got coming up on today's show. We do have Cowboys Report after hours once again, exclusively on Rumble. 5 free agents who could start right now for the Dallas Cowboys. We've also got on our live show, YouTube and Facebook, plus Rumble, latest Cowboys news and rumors, 2 mailbags. So there is, as always, 2 ways to get your questions featured on the show. Super chat like Mark and Brett did. We'll get to those early on. Or use hashtag Cowboys in the comment section. We'll make everyone's lives, namely producer Jeremy's, easier if you actually use those. Otherwise, your question simply gets buried all the way through. And despite only having 1 day of minicamp, we will break down the Cowboys minicamp winners and losers. All that's coming up live right now here on the Dallas Cowboys Report. This is the Cowboys Report. I am Tom Downey, and today's show is presented by Aura, all-in-one digital safety for the whole family. They're giving you a free 14-day trial when you head over to aura.com/chatsports. That link will be in the comment section and in the description. We have a month-long challenge here at Chat Sports, the most likes on any channel, and currently we are third. We are way behind the Raiders and way behind the main Chat Sports account, which is cheating a little bit because they've got the NBA Finals, but still, no excuses. So help us out. Like this video right now. Our first rumor of the day focuses in on one Robert Quinn, who has skipped Bears' mandatory minicamp, which adds a lot of credence to the CBS Sports report that Quinn wants out of Chicago, doesn't want to be part of what appears to be at least a short-term rebuild at his age with the Bears. And many, from Bleacher Report to a lot of different Cowboys bloggers, have linked Quinn to the Cowboys, if only as a I want to add the former Cowboys legend. Now, Quinn was not great in 2020 when he suffered an injury and was not the guy that the Bears thought he was going to be when they poached him from the Cowboys and got the Cowboys a nice comp pick. In 2021, in a rather under-the-radar campaign for a bad football team, Robert Quinn put up 18.5 sacks. He was awesome. He's not a premier run defender. That's okay. We know that Quinn can get at the passer. And there are some concerns still about the level of impact. The rest of the pass rush beyond Micah Parsons and, in theory, a healthy DeMarcus Lawrence will be able to provide. Now, from a contract perspective, this matters a lot because the Cowboys like their guys, and maybe Quinn falls in that category, but probably not. Not as expensive as you might have heard from others. The actual money owed to Quinn, if the Cowboys were to trade for him, is broken down as follows. 3 years, under $40 million in total. There is no guaranteed money. The Cowboys, with over $22 million in salary cap space right now, could easily afford Quinn this year. And if they wanted to, they could bring down that 2022 cap hit by making some guaranteed money and making it into a signing bonus and pushing out in the future, and still even making it a cheaper one-year rental for Quinn. So with that stuff in mind, knowing we're not done with this conversation yet, we still have to discuss, well, the realities of the situation as it relates to the Cowboys. Would you trade for Robert Quinn? Y for yes or N for no? This question is the pinned comments on today's video. So if the ad break comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there, type in your Y for yes or your N for no. Now, we should know the drill by now. The Cowboys aren't going to spend big. They have done next to nothing this year in free agency. And they want to see what their guys can do. Dorrance Armstrong, Sam Williams, Chauncey Golston, Dante Fowler, etc. This could hypothetically change closer to the trade deadline. I think that also fits for the Bears as well. Much like we saw Von Miller get dealt when Denver realized they weren't going to be the full-fledged contender that their head coach needed to be. If the Cowboys are, as we all expect them, being as a contender in the season, and maybe Tank Lawrence gets hurt, knock on wood, hopefully not, Dorrance Armstrong doesn't produce the way we want him to, if Sam Williams is slow to come along, and the Cowboys need that other pass rusher, a player like Robert Quinn starts to make a ton of sense for the Cowboys, but I would say that's a lot closer to a potential move made at the deadline than one made in July, August, or whatever on that standpoint. Now, coming up next, we will discuss the idea around trading Tyron Smith, that coming up in a moment. But first, today's show is presented by Aura, the all-in-one digital safety tool that's giving you, the loyal Cowboys Report watcher, a free 14-day trial when you head over to aura.com/chatsports. That link's in the comment section and the description as well. Aura offers financial fraud protection, identity theft protection, and online and device security for the whole family, up to 5 members of your family. With a free trial that you can cancel at any time, there's really no reason not to try it out. Aura.com/chatsports. All right, so Bleacher Report went through 5 trades that need to happen, and theirs was Tyron Smith to the Steelers, with the idea of you make the transition now, you start Tyler Smith at left tackle, Connor McGovern at left guard. To the potential delight of Catboy, it does save $13.5 million in salary cap space this year, which, as we know, they don't need. It also creates pretty massive question marks, even more so, along the offensive line. The perceived trade value, according to Bleacher Report, was a 3rd-round pick for Tyron Smith, which I would be a lot more open to if I wasn't trying to win football games this year. If I were rebuilding, that would make sense. But in all seriousness, the Cowboys should be a better football team than the Steelers this year. So why are the Cowboys being the sellers? That's my biggest issue with this idea, although I think the value is somewhat decent. So when it comes to value, and we'll spend some more time on Tyron here in a minute, what draft pick minimum you would accept in exchange in a trade for Tyron Smith? Play GM for me in the comments section and let me know what is the lowest draft pick you would take back in a trade for Smith. Tyron's a very weird player to identify trade value because when he is healthy, he is one of, if not the still top 5 best left tackles in the NFL. The problem you run into, and this is, I think, kind of what happened to La'el Collins as well. Why are you looking to move on from by far your best left tackle and the guy who's been so good for so long for you? The answer probably is, well, injuries. And if that's the case, teams aren't going to want Tyron Smith. So he falls in the very unique and tricky bubble of he probably doesn't have the trade value you would think he should, the way he would like have on Madden, for example, based on his overall rating, because there would be immediate concerns from other teams about his health. And on top of that, you trade away Tyron Smith, you're banking on the penalty-prone player in Tyler Smith fixing those issues quickly. Now, if you were rebuilding, I would have a lot more interest in that because you would be putting his feet to the fire and allowing him to learn through those growing pains. You probably don't want to have that tough learning curve for Tyler Smith in year one. So if the Cowboys are terrible this year for whatever reason and the trade deadline comes around, I could have that conversation, but I think the asking price would have to still be somewhat high because the offensive line's important. And moving on from another starter, not something I'm trying to do right now. When the Cowboys do something, anything, please, I beg of you, we will break it down here on the Cowboys Report. Hit that big red button and subscribe. Maybe they'll do something on Fridays because all of their free agent signings have come Friday night. Hit that big red button and subscribe right here on the Cowboys Report. Injury note per Mike McCarthy, Kelvin Joseph, who missed minicamp and some of the back end of OTAs, dealing with what was termed a minor, quote-unquote, injury. Expectation is he is back for training camp, which is roughly 5 weeks away, back end of July in Oxnard. He was rolled up on a play at a previous OTA, but he's been out there in just the jersey, but not participating at OTAs and at minicamp. So noteworthy, not panic-worthy, however. It does make it another tricky roadblock in the path of Kelvin Joseph emerging as a starter for this Cowboys team. Trayvon Diggs is back. He was a baller last year, and to be honest, Anthony Brown exceeded everyone's expectations. Jordan Lewis probably did too. But the goal when the Cowboys took Kelvin Joseph in round 2, despite the concerns over his attitude at Kentucky, which kind of bore true a little bit more recently, was he becomes a starter. And I don't know when that's going to happen from that standpoint. So we'll have to wait and see on when Joseph fully emerges as a starter. So here's my question. Will Kelvin Joseph start at corner in week 1? And we will include nickel corner as a starter. So is he one of your top 3 guys? A for yes or B for no. Let's talk about the second NFL team coming to Dallas. Yeah, Jerry agrees with me. It's dumb. Dallas Mayor Eric Johnson has pushed for a second NFL team in Dallas because he's trying to increase revenue for the city. I get all that. Not smart, though. And as I've said before, I do think running on an anti-Dallas Cowboys campaign as the mayor of Dallas is a questionable political move. But Jerry Jones has shot that down. Here's the quote from Jerry. I will try to do my mediocre Jerry impression, by the way. Well, I like the mayor. Now, I like him personally, but he doesn't have the depth. He doesn't have the knowledge that others have regarding how unique Dallas is and how we enjoy the interest in our Cowboys. He wouldn't want to water that down as it relates to Dallas if he knew as much and has spent as much time in sports as I have. Is it good or not? I don't know. You can type G for good, B for bad. We'll do it again later. As I've said before, a second team in Dallas makes absolutely no sense. Jerry's right. You pull away from the Cowboys. That's Dallas's team. That's Texas's team. Sorry, Houston. It's not a good business move for the NFL either, as Jerry continued. Well, you can rest assured that you would not have the NFL supporting another team because of the kind of value that the game and the NFL receives of having the Dallas Cowboys as one of its marquee teams. And again, logic tells you that you wouldn't want to water that down to be tried. It's mediocre, I think, impression in the end, but it's fun, and we try to have fun here at the Cowboys Report. A second NFL team is not coming to Dallas. It has never made sense for the NFL. It doesn't make sense for Jerry, and you can best believe Jones would not allow that to happen. All right, let's go to this one. I have a reasoning behind it here. Best round of golf you shot. I ask it because the Cowboys went to Topgolf instead of the second day of mandatory minicamp. And some of them are good. I don't think you saw. I don't know if I showed you the video or not, Chugs. But Ben DiNucci's has a good swing. Ian Bunting has a good swing. LVE isn't bad. Dak's actually better than what I thought it would be. Some of them were bad. In particular, and I'm kind of surprised Nick Ralston posted it. Micah Parsons. He whiffed. We found the one thing Micah can't do. He was trying to hit it as hard as possible. His foot's up. And he just totally whiffs.
He's got a shot like Tyler Jones.
It was no, Tyler's better. It was a rough swing from Micah. It was not good at all.
Hey, but he's a good football player. You know, he's working on football. He's not working on golf.
Yeah, I mean, it's
DiNucci,
fine.
You can't say the same.
It's true. I mean, DiNucci had a pretty good swing, pretty fluid swing. From the ones we saw, LV's was good, but some of those were not very good. Duncan says 9 over par is his best round. That's a pretty damn good round, whether it's on 9 or 18. Unmute yourself and say it again.
Tom, people are arguing in the comments. Can you put this argument to rest?
Yes, I will.
Do you get a comp pick for a player that retires?
No, you don't. It's never happened ever. It's not how it works. You get comp picks only for players leaving as unrestricted free agents. That's the only way you get a comp pick back. So keep the votes coming. Best round of golf you shot. Jeremy, what's your best round again? 120?
I don't keep score. I play for the love of the game.
Okay, so like 120. Got it. There you go. I will say this. I would feel good about my chances of beating most of the Cowboys players on a course. Then again, they're football players. I'm not, so it kind of makes sense in that standpoint. All right, another question. Pick a wide receiver. CeeDee Lamb, A.J. Brown. Okay, so this is a good one, Jeremy. This is a good non-Cowboys question because we know which route they're going to go if it's close, and it is close.
I mean, I think A.J. Brown is a really good wide receiver.
There's no doubt about that.
A really good young wide receiver. You can build your team around a guy like that. You know, doesn't have as many drop issues as a couple other younger wide receivers, you know, Tom?
Talking about Jalen Reagor?
Yes.
Is that about?
Yes,
yeah.
him among others. So.
Let's just say hypothetically, and just hypothetically, if I were to tell you that CeeDee Lamb and A.J. Brown had the same amount of drops last year, what would you say to that?
Phooey.
I don't know what that means, but it is accurate. They
Really?
both had 8 drops last year, with Lamb getting more touches and targets. So Brown had the higher drop rate.
Interesting.
Just throwing that out there. Both are really good football players.
You know, you can use stats to sway any argument that you have.
Yeah, I can use stats to make a good argument because that's not my job or anything. All right, Jeremy. All right. It is a almost unanimous vote, by the way. CD. Roy Williams says, I'm sorry, but it's AJ. Everybody else is going with CeeDee Lamb from that standpoint. I will make note that Lamb did have more everything last year than A.J. Brown's best season. So just throwing that out there, too. Well, wait, touchdowns? Hold on. Not touchdowns. A.J. Brown had more touchdowns in 2020.
Oh, and the name of the game is to score more points, so.
Yes, if only there were multiple players who could score points for you. Mailbag time coming up here. You can get your questions answered 2 ways. Number 1, use hashtag Cowboys or Super Chat like Mark and Brett and Mark again did. So if you want your questions answered on the show, 2 ways. Use hashtag Cowboys like I see Roy Williams just did in the live chat. Or you can skip the line altogether with a Super Chat. Pretty straightforward. As your questions come in, as a reminder, we are staying live after today's show wraps up on YouTube and Facebook, exclusively on Rumble. I already see Sack Don Bishop 91, Sack 77, Don Bishop in there as well. I see you guys in there. We will be live only on Rumble for Cowboys Report After Hours. 5 free agents who could start right now for the Cowboys with all of their immensely available cap space if they were to ever actually spend it. This is the Dallas Cowboys Report. I am Tom Downey, and we are here with a mailbag answering all of your questions on everything related to the Dallas Cowboys. We're going to begin with a super thanks from Savage505. He can't watch the live shows, but he consistently does these. If you do them too, we'll give you shout-outs as well. He says, Tom, if you were owner, what moves would you do with the roster and coaching staff? Roster, I would try to sign a veteran or two. I would be fine with Anthony Barr and a Julio Jones or some veteran players to help me out right now. Not much I can do in June at this point, especially from the coaching staff. That's just, you're not going to be able to do anything there. What I would do is if the Cowboys fail this upcoming year, I would do an actual coaching search. The Cowboys haven't done one of those since they hired Wade Phillips. Interviewing Marvin Lewis and Mike McCarthy is not a real coaching search. That's picking one guy after 2 interviews. Do a real search. Super chat time from Mark. Explain to me why McCarthy wants bonding and not practice. Other than the NFC least, we do not do well. This team is going cream puff. I miss Coach Jimmy. Chemistry does matter for players. And remember, the rules now are very different from a CBA perspective from what minicamp is now versus what it was under Jimmy Johnson. You can't be in shoulder pads. You can't do actual hitting. The only stuff you can really get done at minicamp and at OTAs is installation. So once it's installed, there's not that much to do. Training camp is a very different story. In games are a different story, but the rules have changed significantly since Jimmy Johnson was the head coach. From Brett, $5. Oh, I owe some drinks. Hold on. Which was your favorite team to watch? 2007, 2014, 2016. Mine's 2014 team. It's a good question. Definitely not the early 2000s teams. The 14 team, man, I thought they were good. I'll tell you what, the one that hurt the most for me, beyond the Des Cauda year, was that first Romo playoff team. Because had that snap not been botched, they would have made a run. From Mark again, what's the real reason Jerry Jones won't spend $23 million? It's not for future contracts, as he says. Does he really think we don't need any other talent? Makes no sense. Well, it's not Jerry. This is Steven. Steven has taken over more and more power within the organization from a personnel management perspective. And my suspicion is that Steven wants clean books in the future. He doesn't want to spend a bunch of cash per year. He wants to have flexibility no matter what. Doesn't want to go too far all in. And I think he believes his lies of, well, we got the Micah deal coming 2 years from now. I think Steven actually believes that, which is him being wrong. Mark, again, from our rumors video, says, nice Skeletor impersonation. Bet you're the better GM. 10 years. 10 years as Cowboys owner. I guarantee a title, or I will sell the franchise. From Tyler Klutz's burner account, another super chat, what will Pollard get paid next off season? Depends on how he plays this year and where he plays next year. I could see a scenario in which he leaves the Cowboys and gets $7, $8, or $9 million per year, kind of like Melvin Gordon got. From the cool Jeremy, Tom versus producer Jeremy in Madden, who wins and what's the score?
That's easy money.
I don't play Madden anymore.
Easy money. I am destroying Tom.
Now, if we play NCAA 14,
I'm still destroying
you are getting
Tom.
Smoked, Jeremy.
Tom will cry.
Jeremy, you're getting smoked.
Tom will cry.
I will obliterate you.
No chance.
In NCAA 14.
Absolute no chance.
I am legitimately good at that game.
So somebody get a drug test because I don't know what Tom's on.
Let me know when you're dropping 100 on this against the CPU on Heisman in 5-minute quarters, all right?
That's cute.
From Dragon Slayer XX420, could we trade for Terry McLaurin? Fun idea, big-time receiver, yay. Do not get your hopes up. This is a Cowboys organization that doesn't want to spend money at the position, right? McLaurin's an awesome football player. He and CeeDee Lamb, Depending on how you feel about A.J. Brown, those are two of the top 3 receivers in the NFC East. You got them on the same football team there. And in theory, McLaurin would benefit from having a better quarterback than whatever corpse the Commanders dragged up this week. The issue is money. McLaurin's going to want about $25 million per year, right? Like, that's what A.J. Brown got, and McLaurin's been just as productive, if not more so, than Brown has been over his NFL career. Think the Cowboys want to pay A.J. Brown or pay McLaurin $25 million? They have to give CeeDee Lamb similar money? I don't think so. Frankly, I don't think the Cowboys trade for any big-name wide receiver. What do you think ends up happening? Will the Cowboys trade for any of the big-name guys you guys ask about, McLaurin, DK Metcalf, etc.? This is the pinned comment on today's video, so if the ad break comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Y for yes, N for no. From Roy Williams, I think we should trade for Chuck Clark because we need to add depth at free safety behind Malik Hooker. His injuries are a red flag, plus I know Dallas doesn't trust Israel Mukuamu. I would like to add Chuck Clark from a pure talent perspective. I think he's a starting caliber safety. He's not that expensive. I know the Cowboys like Donovan Wilson as well, and I think some of those undrafted free agents who get hyped, guys like Marquise Bell and even Wanye Thomas and Tyler Coyle, I think those players fit better behind Curse more so than Malik Hooker. So if the cost is cheap, yeah, I'm down on that standpoint. From Elmatic 7, if Parsons doesn't get the sack numbers this year, what are his other assets think he brings to the table? So the big reason why the Micah pick has been so successful is as a pass rusher. If he didn't have that pass rushing ability, we would be saying he's as good as Jeremiah Wusu-Koroma, who was awesome this year for the Browns, but wasn't a double-digit sack machine. The pass rushing ability, which is so impactful and is the most impactful things Parsons does, is why that pick has turned out so great and so incredible for the Cowboys. Beyond that, though, he's a very quality run stopper. Of course, not perfect. Nobody is. He can get hurries if he doesn't get the sacks, but that's still pass rush category. And he showed better coverage than what we saw on film at Penn State as well. So if he's not pressuring the quarterback, then he's a good off-ball linebacker or maybe a great off-ball linebacker. But the pressure stuff is what takes him into his own unique category and was what is so important in the end. From King Shadow 24, get prepared for Catboy to take Bijan Robinson round 1 next year. Got to have that franchise running back. Robinson's an awesome football player. I love the talent. It also comes down to the whole how do you want to invest into your running back room. I feel like dumping Zeke and then spending a first-round pick on a great football player in Robinson kind of means we didn't learn the lesson of don't invest heavily at running backs because they have short shelf lives and are easier, not easy, but easier to replace. The Cowboys Report is also on Rumble, and we are getting embarrassed right now. Our Giants channel continues to pull away, and the Raiders Report also is. So help me out. Help me not get embarrassed by my coworkers and look bad in front of my bosses. Follow us on Rumble. You can play the videos podcast style on your phone. We got exclusive content, uncensored stuff as well. Rumble.com/CowboysTV. All right, from Brett, Murray or Zeke? This is another super chat, so I owe a lot of drinks here, so let me start chugging. Close enough. I think I'd go Zeke. Like, for their overall careers, I think is the real question here. Both were, at their peaks, awesome football players, but I think Zeke's had a better career overall. Now, here's a question producer Jeremy had lined up. Pick a running back. EE for Ezekiel Elliott. SB for Saquon Barkley. I think I've got to go with the one who, although injured in recent years, has actually been somewhat productive, and that's Ezekiel Elliott. You might say, but Tom, that's because the offensive line. That's why you don't invest in running backs. I'm going EE. You guys can vote EE for Ezekiel Elliott or SB for Saquon Barkley. From Jordan, how much would you pay CeeDee Lamb once his contract is up? So that depends on what you mean by up. Do you mean eligible for an extension? That comes next year, and that could come in around the $25 million price tag, depending on how he plays this year. If he emerges as the number one guy, 25 might be a steal. If he is just kind of what he's been, it's maybe more $20 million for a player of his caliber. If you mean in 3 years after the franchise tag gets applied, I don't know. That's such a massive market change that will happen. It could be 35 by the time the salary cap jumps up more and more. So I think the A.J. Brown trade is kind of the ceiling right now for the current Lamb. And, I think those Chris Godwin-style deals, worst-case Christian Kirk at $18 million, which is still way lower than what Lamb should get, is kind of your floor. From DeLunatic, bigger worry, our offensive line or our linebacking core? I'm going to go offensive line. I have hope for Jabril Cox. I understand the concerns over players not named Micah Parsons, but the offensive line will have a much bigger impact on your team, snap in and snap out, than the linebacking core will, especially when you could just roll down Jaron Kearse and go with big nickel, big dime packages. So I am worried about the offensive line since your center was a penalty machine last year. You've got a rookie at left guard, I assume, in Tyler Smith, and injury questions at left tackle, and we'll see how Terrence Steele fares in year 3. Now, if you want to be a part of future mailbags here on the Dallas Cowboys Report, you have got to subscribe. Hit that big red button and join us for all of our live shows. That way your questions can be answered here on the Cowboys Report. From Boondock Saint, now that Coop's gone, who do you see filling that role over the middle of the field he excelled in? Needs to be CeeDee Lamb. Honestly, Lamb's dig routes, which they got away from later in the year because they didn't trust the offensive line to keep Dak upright, those were some really damn good football plays that worked well. Dak and Lamb had that play going. They didn't trust the O-line to keep the quarterback upright. It needs to be Lamb who thrives more over the middle of the field. From Jerry Jones is BFF, trade for Kenneth Murray. The Cowboys liked him a lot coming out of Oklahoma. There was buzz bordering on concern that they could take him in round 1. Murray was pretty solid-ish as a rookie, and then the regime change happens, and he fell out of favor as the Chargers kind of were like, let's play him at outside linebacker, and that was a disaster, and he was a bit banged up, and he wasn't a full-time starter, and he was bad in coverage last year. If the cost is cheap, I actually don't hate this idea. I don't foresee LA dumping him so quickly, but I think maybe more so next year. This could be a good name to monitor because he fits what I call the Will McClay special, former early round pick who the Cowboys liked coming out of the draft. They could have interest in. Speaking of trades, name a player who you want to go out and trade for. You can play GM for me. Drop a name. Please be realistic in the comments section. Henry Nutch, what would you say is the Cowboys' biggest need right now? That's a good question. I'm not going to go with the ownership route. That's cheating. Needs perspective, I am looking at linebacker, center. I would still strongly consider a better proven tight end too. I think receiver is a huge one for the short term because I love Jalen Tolbert's upside, but third-round picks don't immediately happen overnight. Got to be cautious there. And I think punt returner also pretty underrated on that standpoint. Randy Davis, Jerry Jones versus the Dallas Mayor in a boxing match. Who wins? Jerry wins because he rigs it in his favor, and the Mayor takes a dive for some kickbacks or something. I don't know. Maybe that's slander. Who knows? I got Jerry, though, because he would cheat. From Vince, will the CD help Dak get another big contract like Cooper did? Well, I think at this point, you're probably a bit more focused on CD breaking out so that he gets his own contract. There is a symbiotic nature to the quarterback and the receivers. If one's playing well, the other tends to play well, and it kind of feeds into each other. Dak's got 2 more years left on his deal after this one. You probably do want to start considering extension to keep that salary cap hit low. And remember, don't let Stephen Jones trick you into saying, oh, well, we can't do this and that because we got only so much pie available. The NFL, yeah, there's pie. It's also there's an oven behind you. Just make some damn more pie. It's not that hard. So what's your confidence level in the Cowboys? Scale it for me 1 to 100. Are you confident or not that confident? Sound off for me in the comment section. From Pedro Sandoval. Okay, so if you were Catboy and Jerry, who would you get with the cap space? A DK Metcalf or Deebo Samuel? Which one of these receivers would you get? I probably just would have kept Amari Cooper, to be honest. At this point, I think Deebo's the better football player. I would also feel more confident about my current offensive coordinator, Kellen Moore, being able to better maximize DK Metcalf because I don't know if Deebo's going to be utilized quite properly by the OC. So if I got to pick one, I think I'd probably go DK from a trusting my offense perspective, but I'd be pretty pleased with either of those guys. If we did not get to your question, it's okay. Hit me up on Twitter at WhatGoingDowney. My DMs are open to answer any and all of your questions. It's Tupac's birthday. Let's bring back this feud. Better rapper, T for Tupac or B for Biggie Smalls? By the way, Brett, I see your super chat about Aaron Donald. We'll get to that in the second mailbag coming up in a little bit. Jeremy, Tupac or Biggie?
I got to go with Biggie.
Okay, I agree. We're on the same page.
Okay, cool.
No disrespect meant towards Tupac on his birthday.
Yeah.
But I think Biggie's better. So, I don't know if that's a hot take. Comments coming in. Luis Rodriguez says B. Jordan and Creighton, though, say T. Don Bishop, 91, on Rumble says B for Biggie Smalls. I see Tupac's from Creighton and Pedro. Biggie from Roy Williams. Biggie from Luis Rodriguez. So it's pretty even split. Boondocks Saint also says Biggie as well.
So, little funny quick story here. One of our coworkers, Jeffrey Cooperstein, came out and said Tupac is overrated.
Cap.
I mean, I would pick Biggie over Tupac, but he straight up said Tupac is, as a whole, overrated.
Paris Willis says Tupac. Jaquez says Tupac.
Freezing cold take right there.
Yeah,
Tom.
well, he's got some bad ones, if we're being honest.
He said Kobe's not top 10.
Yeah. He's definitely in the top 10 conversation. I don't even think – I think the Tupac's overrated is a bigger slander than Kobe. Biggie from Raul Thomas Palmer says, y'all are crazy, Tupac all day. Now what we can do next is East Coast, West Coast, and see if everything aligns properly. Get the votes in. T for Tupac or B for Biggie. I forget who said it. I think Alex says that Tupac was the better rapper. Biggie was the better performer and lyricist. I don't hate that idea. I don't hate it. On the Box Life Girls is spamming B. And Jimmy says 50%. So I'm not sure where we're at, Jimmy. Make sure you click that live video, Jimmy. You might be a bit behind. Click live. If your internet cuts out for a second, it'll delay your stream. After today's live show wraps up here on YouTube and on Facebook, we'll have the Cowboys Report after hours, only on Rumble. So make sure you follow us over there, rumble.com/CowboysTV. We'll kill things on YouTube, kill things on Facebook, and just go exclusively live on Rumble for 5 free agents who would make the Dallas Cowboys, who would start for the Cowboys right away. Minicamp is in the books for the Dallas Cowboys, and today's winners and losers video is presented by Aura, all-in-one digital safety for the whole family. Get your free trial going today at aura.com/chatsports. 14-day free trial, cancel at any time. Minicamp was supposed to be 3 days for the Cowboys, and they canceled it. They went with 1 day of minicamp. Day 2 was a Topgolf excursion, and day 3 was canceled altogether, with Mike McCarthy saying they had already installed the installation stuff, so they finished their actual goals since OTAs and minicamp. Not that much different anymore. So are you okay with canceling the remainder of minicamp ending on 1 day? Y for yes or N for no? For the record, by the way, this isn't that unique. A lot of teams, as we get more and more into you're not able to do the things you used to do at OTAs and minicamp, they cancel a day or two. The Eagles canceled their entire minicamp. New England canceled their last day and the last 2 days of OTAs. So it is a bit more unusual to skip 2 days of the 3, but it's not totally unique in the end. Let's break down some winners. First up, Sam Williams, the rookie edge out of Ole Miss. In the lone minicamp practice, highly productive. 4 sacks. 2 of them came against Matt Waletzko, 1 on Terrence Steele, one on Tyron Smith. And I do want to make this note too, just early on. These aren't real practices. You might have the Guardian caps on, which are now mandated by the NFL, the weird looking almost like a volleyball's on top of your helmet type of thing. Those are on, shells are on, but pads and real contact aren't quite the same. It's not a real practice, and it definitely favors space players, so edge rushers over offensive linemen, and your receivers and running backs over linebackers and corners, because you're just not tackling in the end. Despite that, it is okay to be excited over early big plays from guys like Sam Williams. So if you are excited about the Cowboys rookies, show it by liking the video right now. Next up, Jalen Tolbert as a minicamp winner. He was actually a loser for OTs. He wasn't really out there. He was banged up. Well, he came back from minicamp after a hamstring strain, and with other injuries that we'll get into later on at wide receiver, he was kind of receiver one for Dallas. He had a strong day, touchdown pass catch from Dak Prescott, and was the leader among the punt returners. And it seems like he is the favorite to handle that particular role as well. So Tolbert goes from OTA loser because of injury to minicamp winner, as he looked pretty damn good out there. This is the rookie I'm most excited about in 2022. Well, ask the nice side of things here. Name a minicamp winner for me in the comments section. So if the ad break comes here on YouTube, head down there and let me know who you think is a minicamp winner for the Dallas Cowboys. Connor McGovern next up here, as he continues to work over Tyron Smith as the starter with the ones at left guard. Now, it is only June, and I would bet that changes at some point in July, or actually probably more like August, since training camp starts late July. But McGovern, for now, is the starter for the offensive line at left guard. That's a big deal for McGovern, as he is in a contract year and fighting to prove that he is still worthy of being the guy the Cowboys thought he was going to be coming out of Penn State. Hasn't happened so far. It's a make-or-break year. I do still think at some point that Tyron Smith emerges as the starting left guard, but McGovern's job is to make that challenging. So what do you think ends up happening? Will Connor McGovern start week one? Type in S for he's a starter, or type in B for he's a backup. More receivers here. That's not a huge surprise since there were so many injuries. TJ Vasher, who also drew some strong praise at OTAs, he is getting reps with the ones and the twos because of injuries and making some nice plays. And Vasher brings something this team doesn't have, which is legitimate size on the outside. Now, he has to play more physical relative to the way he did Texas Tech, because he wasn't a physical player at a rather skinny weight for his immense size. But that is a unique skill set the Cowboys don't have right now on this roster. So Vasher might be the pet cat, so to speak, at training camp, but he's starting things off on the right foot. Today's show is powered by Aura. If you want financial fraud protection, identity theft protection, and online and device security for you and or your entire family, Aura is the spot for you. And they're giving you a free 14-day trial over at aura.com/chatsports. That link will be in both the comments section and it will be in the description of today's video. You can cancel this free trial at any time, so there's really no reason why you shouldn't get started. Aura.com/chatsports. Another receiver, Simi Fehoko, the 5th-round rookie last year who made no impact on the team out of Stanford. It's interesting to talk about both Vasher and Fehoko because they've got a little bit bigger size. Both of them, in the end, the key to their roster status is going to come down to how they impress on special teams. That is a big deal for those back end of the wide receiver room players. They've got to emerge as key special teams. That's how Noah Brown has stuck around for so long. And Fehoko, if he can do special teams, can replace Noah Brown and then get more reps like Brown got in games that mattered last year. So of the two young guys, the two bigger guys, quote-unquote, although Fehoko's not as big as Vasher, but you get the point, pick one of them. If only one of these guys can make the roster, who will or who do you want it to be? TJ for TJ Vasher, SF for Simi Fehoko. Time for some lesser names on here. Tyler Coyle, the safety. We have talked about Marquise Bell before. I am hyped about him. Don't forget about the other safety who kind of fits that J-Ron Curse mold as your bigger body linebacker safety hybrid. He's been making some splash plays at minicamp, some at OTAs as well. Overall, this is the best I felt about the Cowboys safety room for as long as I can remember. You've got J-Ron Curse and Malik Hooker re-signed, proven vets now. We all thought Donovan Wilson would be safety 1 last year. Now he's safety 3. You've got Israel Mukuamu, Marquise Bell, Tyler Coyle, and Wanye Thomas. That's a lot better, even for like the back end of the roster guys and what the Cowboys have had in recent years. So I am excited about that standpoint. Now, minicamp's over. The Cowboys have nothing of note going on until training camp in July. But not only will we have the best training camp coverage you could need, we'll have daily videos despite that, even before training camp. So if you haven't already, hit that big red button and subscribe, youtube.com/CowboysTV. Isaac Taylor-Stewart, next up here, the rookie UDFA out of USC, had himself the play of the day at minicamp. This is not the first time I have said there's been a pick 6 in 2-minute drills. Marquise Bell had one. Taylor-Stewart picked one off of Will Greer. We will talk about the backup quarterbacks later on, by the way, but Taylor-Stewart flashed early. I think he has a tough path to the active roster with so many corners, but practice squad could be a prime destination for that young safety. Taylor-Stewart is one of the more notable UDFAs this year. My answer is still Marquise Bell / kicker Jonathan Garibay, which was almost anti-brand, but whatever. Who is your favorite undrafted free agent this year? We've got one more name who you might not have heard of before coming up momentarily, but let me know who your favorite undrafted free agent is, at least for this year's class only, not 2020 or 2021, only for the 2022 class. Here's a name we haven't discussed at all, really. Dennis Houston. Todd Archer hyped him up, and Archer don't miss. Getting reps with the ones. That means over other receivers like Brandon Smith from last year's class, Ty Freifogel, who many of us liked coming out of Indiana. Houston has been getting some reps with the ones and has made a good impression, according to Archer. That is a good name to monitor. That back end of the roster spot, assuming CeeDee Lamb, Tolbert, Washington all make the team, Gallup's probably not going to be good to go week 1. So that's 3 of your 6-ish guys. That leaves Fehoko, Brown, Vasher, Smith, Ontario Drummond, Ty Freifogel, Roberson, and Houston all fighting for a couple of spots. That battle under the radar is a good one to keep an eye out for as training camp and the preseason moves along. Next minicamp winner is Dak Prescott, who apparently looks significantly leaner. He said his weight hasn't changed, but he did shed what he called some of the baby fat, which a little weird. It is best shape of life season after all, but he is healthy and he's moving around better, like we kind of saw at the end of last year. He wasn't moving that great early on, and then back couple games seemed to add a little half step of speed. The Cowboys need him to dominate because the roster around him did not get better this year. That puts a lot of pressure on your franchise QB. Our last winner, best shape of life season. I've got 8 different players / coaches who have been hyped as best shape of life. Zeke Elliott, as he is every year. Connor McGovern, praised by Mike McCarthy for his in-shapeness. CeeDee Lamb added 10 pounds, and he grew a ½ inch. That's right, folks. Mid-20s, CeeDee Lamb grew a ½ inch. Mike McCarthy, not kidding, actually does look like he cut some weight, by the way. Dak Prescott, just mentioned him. Neville Gallimore, he added 16 pounds of pure muscle. Dalton Schultz, per Mike McCarthy, best shape of his life. He looks great. Chauncey Golston added 20 pounds of mass this offseason. Welcome to best shape of life season, which is my favorite part of the offseason. Because no matter what, whether you are actually in the best shape of your life, or if you're not, and you added a little bit of the COVID weight still, you're in the best shape of your life. It's a great positive reinforcement campaign. So if you are in the best shape of your life, or if you're not, pretend that you are. Type me in the comment section right now. Minicamp losers time, because in life there are losers. Accept it and deal with it. First up is Kelvin Joseph because, well, he's banged up again. Minor injury per head coach Mike McCarthy. Is expected back for training camp. That is a good thing, but it's just another roadblock in what have already been too many of them for Joseph in his young NFL career so far. Hopefully he is good to go in time for training camp. Josh Ball's next up here, and you won't often see media reports body players too much, but every time there's so-and-so bullied a lineman and he fell backward, it's Josh Ball's name in the tweet, which that's when you're looking for consistent little trends, I've noticed that one with Josh Ball. He's also working at right tackle, which makes it a trickier path for him to actually get on the field, since left tackle is where we assume there would be an injury problem this upcoming year. James Washington, tiny apparently today, receiver because he's banged up. He's injured. That's what's going on right now. He has a left foot tendonitis, which it's a red flag for me. If you sign with a team and then you're banged up and can't work at minicamp and OTAs, I know it's only install. It's not that important, but I want chemistry reps, and he's not getting those. And really overall, the receiving corps is super injured. Noah Brown's banged up right now. I didn't call him a loser. CeeDee Lamb has a very minor issue that the term was if it was a normal game, he'd be practicing, so I'm not worried there. But Washington Brown, being banged up, I don't love it. Time now to be mean. Name a minicamp loser for the Dallas Cowboys. Let me know who you are unimpressed by so far in the comments section. Rico Dowdle next up here, as he's also banged up and injured. He had the hip surgery last year, then an off-season knee scope. So in theory, he's going to be back in time for camp, but with him out and Malik Davis banged up, by the way, means Aaron Champlin and Nick Ralston kind of, sort of, have been working as the next available running backs, and along with Jaquan Hardy. So a bit thin. Hopefully Dowdle impresses. I like him. He showed some flashes, but he's got to be healthy. Finally, the non-Cooper Rush backup QBs. There is a sizable gap between Cooper Rush's play and that of Ben DiNucci and Will Grier. To the extent that I continue to not trust Grier and Nucci Maine, despite the memes associated with him, which are pretty funny. You need Dak healthy, obviously. Beyond Rush, I don't trust these other QBs at this moment. Who is your favorite current Cowboys player? Current players only, by the way. So, can't say guys that are retired, Sean Lee, Emmitt Smith, Rickman, etc. Jeremy, who is your favorite current Cowboys player? You must pick one if you're going to try to commandeer the show a little bit.
My favorite Cowboys player right now.
Mm-hmm. I see Dak from Aladdin. King Shadow says Micah. Gordo says Trayvon Diggs. Gary says LVE. And King says Micah.
It was JP Leducier?
LP Leducer?
Yes.
There you go. The long snapper.
He used to be my favorite.
Yeah.
Now,
Dak, Micah, Diggs, Dak.
Oh, this is so hard. There's so many players, you know.
Diggs.
I'm gonna have to go with
Tyron Smith.
I'm gonna have to go with Garibay.
Jonathan Garibay. Are you picking a kicker just to try to troll me?
No, I love Jonathan Garibay. He was one of the.
You are the biggest Texas Tech fan I know.
Yeah, he was one of the best kickers in the Big 12. I'll tell you that.
He objectively was.
Yeah.
CeeDee Lamb is in there. Trayvon Diggs is in there too. What's
also,
up,
I was at a restaurant and I was waiting for pickup, another pickup order. Jonathan Garibay.
It was Jay
Garibay.
Garibay.
Yeah, Garibay.
Can't even pronounce your favorite player's name. How embarrassing.
Well, he's my new favorite player.
Okay, there you go.
He just got drafted.
I see Tony Pollard, Will Grier, Zach Martin. Martin's a good choice.
Who's your favorite player, Tom?
Give me Zach Martin.
Makes sense. You don't really like Dak.
I'm a sucker for offensive linemen.
Yeah, I know. And you don't like Dak, so that makes sense.
Okay. Dak, Trayvon Diggs. Someone just said Isaac. No, I'm sure that Isaac Alarcon. Is that who you're referring to? Boondock Saint. Yeah. Let's see. Irvin. That's not how you spell Trayvon. Nice try. Jordan Lewis, Dak, and Lance Dunbar's burner says anybody but Jeremy. If you've got a Cowboys question you want answered, 2 ways to get on the show for the mailbag. Super chat like Brett and Mark did, or you can just use hashtag Cowboys in the comment section. That'll help you skip the line, so to speak, and get early on if you super chat. If you use hashtag Cowboys.
Like a Disney Fast Pass.
Sure. I have never been to Disneyland or World.
I mean, you're not a fan of fun, so it makes sense.
I am a fan of fun, but I'm not one of those people who are like,
what do you mean?
Disney.
What do you mean by those people?
The people who like get married with a Disney theme. That's what I mean by those people. All right? Because those people are weird, and it's not normal. Anyway, use hashtag Cowboys or super chat to skip the line. After this mailbag wraps up exclusively on Rumble, where we've got Don Bishop 91 who said Zeke, and then Bobby Hass said CD to the earlier one, by the way. Don Bishop, Bobby, Sack 77, all in the live chat right now on Rumble. Get over there after the mailbag wraps up for our exclusive Cowboys Report After Hours segment. 5 free agents who could start right now for America's team. You're watching the Dallas Cowboys Report. I am Tom Downey. It's a mailbag here on the show, and there are, as always, 2 ways to get on the show. Hashtag Cowboys Super Chat, but you gotta be subscribed. Otherwise, you have a hell of a hard time actually getting on. Super Chat to begin from Brett. Aaron Donald is on the board in 2014. Would you take him over Zach Martin? This has to operate under the if I know what I know now. You have to take Aaron Donald. Both of these guys are Hall of Famers. Zach Martin is the best guard in the NFL. Aaron Donald is the best player in the NFL. So no disrespect meant towards Zach Martin. He would be number 2 in this redraft, but you got to take Aaron Donald. From Mark, what's the real chance of replacing an okay Tyler Biadasz? This year, I think it's very low. The Cowboys for 2 years now have not really brought in competition at center. A 7th-round pick in Matt Farniok, letting Connor Williams late in the process try center, and 2 UDFAs, that's not real competition. From Mark again, Mr. Jeremy, how does it feel knowing your team sucks so much? Always have Brother Tom be one up on you. I could not take such abuse myself. LOL, aloha. Feel free to respond, Chugs. Cheers.
I would say, there's a reason why the NFC East hasn't had back-to-back champions, and that's not going to change anytime soon. So
has to change at some point.
I don't.
You're also a Texans fan too. You enabled Deshaun Watson, Jeremy. How dare you?
Oh no! Hey, disavow.
Okay.
Disavow.
There you go, Mark. I appreciate the super chats as always, my friend. Roy Williams, you really did it, Jeremy. Ben DiNucci, quarterback 1. Sign Earl Thomas. Not even a super chat there, but I'll drink for it. From Vince, from the breakout perspective of which player would benefit the Cowboys the most? It's not realistic. But if Dak Prescott were to emerge as the NFL's best quarterback, that is the ideal outcome. Make no mistake. But I don't think that's a fair expectation for Dak at his age 28, 29 season. From an other, just normal breakout perspective, if we include rookies, Tyler Smith. Beyond that, on offense, Tyler Biadasz would be ideal. I think a premier center makes your entire offense better. I think Biadasz could really help in that area. You miss Frederick, obviously. Defensively, pick one of your interior defensive linemen, Neville Gallimore or Osa Odigizua. If they can become consistent penetrators and pass rushers, that's going to benefit your entire defense. That's the one thing the defense is missing is that interior pass rusher. Not Aaron Donald level, but if you can get a close to Chris Jones, DeForest Buckner premier player, that unlocks your defense in a totally new way. From Naked Truth 6060, a weekend for Jeremy. Which Bills receiver would you rather sign, Sanders or Beasley? Depends on what you want. If you want a pure slot only, I think Cole Beasley can still contribute in that role for you. He did outperform Sanders from a catch perspective. He had 40 more catches, but barely 50 more yards than Sanders. I have long loved Emmanuel Sanders, someone way back to the beginning of this show when we were doing free agency stuff, someone I wanted Dallas to go sign. He doesn't have that much left in the tank. I think I'd go with Sanders over Beasley from a pure receiver impact perspective. So pick a receiver. Would you rather have Cole Beasley? Type in CB. Or Emmanuel Sanders? Type in ES. This is the pinned comment on today's video. So if the ad break comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there and let me know. Mark, the MVP so far today. Any serious talks on us grabbing a free agent wide receiver? Not really. Maybe those could pick back up in July. Typically, when the Cowboys do these pre-training camp signings, it's pretty quiet. Every receiver went from 0 to 100 real fast. So it's been quiet right now. Maybe that changes as training camp gets closer. From King Shadow, in the event Mekhi Becton falls fully out of favor with the Jets, range 1 to 10, what is the likelihood of a Mekhi Becton trade consideration? A 3. Becton kind of falls in a similar category as other recent early round draft picks, where he's talented. Everybody knows that. Here's the problem. Why would the Jets give up on a premium talented player so quickly? Means there's something seriously wrong. And if there's something that wrong, maybe you don't want to go get him, especially when it's the same regime that took him. So I would have some interest, but I feel like the Cowboys' plan is for Tyron Smith to be their long-term left tackle. So I would consider on the lower end in the end. We are also on Rumble, where we have free and uncensored content. If I start cussing up a storm on a show, well, the uncensored version is on Rumble. We also offer sports news, and then there's also news, politics, tech, business from other platforms, not us. That's why we're called Chat Sports. Focus on the sports. We are growing to platforms you guys use. So give us a follow. Rumble.com/CowboysTV. Tyler Klutz, where's the Cowboys Legend video? If we do it, maybe in a couple of weeks, the Hall of Famers of Cowboys Legends would be pretty fun, my friend. It's led by Alex Tanney, make no mistake about it. From Lance Dunbar's Burner, a $5 super chat. Jeremy's a power bottom, FYI. Are you a power bottom, Jeremy? And he says no comment. What early 2023 free agents are we going to be linked to and not get? Let me pull up the list here. It's a great question, my friend. So you're looking at a position of need, somebody noteworthy. Let's see. Top free agents who are going to be available. The Cowboys will, by the way, have all of the salary cap space. They're going to roll over about $20-something million this upcoming offseason. Trying to get this damn thing to load. Top free agents the Cowboys will inevitably be linked to. It'll be funny. Trying to get the damn thing to load. Sorry, guys. Let's see. If Derwin James becomes available, they'll be linked to him, I promise you. Probably someone like a Bradley Chubb. Definitely a Jesse Bates. I could see that one going down. Deontay Johnson, if he ends up hitting the open market. Whatever tight end is available, not named Dalton Schultz. They'll probably be linked to some random defensive lineman, like, probably a Marcus Davenport would be a name that ends up getting linked to the Cowboys. He did lose part of his pinky, which is kind of crazy. Other names, they always get linked to Clowney, which is never going to happen, because it never happens. I could see Bradley Chubb, too. I could see that. Yeah, maybe. If you love the Cowboys, you guys have come to the right spot here on the Dallas Cowboys Report. Hit that big red button and subscribe. Free videos every single day right here on the Cowboys Report, so don't miss out on any of our coverage. Anthony De La Soto, when do the Cowboys get ahead of the innovation curve and start going with running back wide receiver hybrids? This is the way I see the league going, C. Debo. So I would like to see them put CeeDee Lamb in the backfield, which that package exists. We saw it run, and it worked well with inside zone handoff to CeeDee Lamb. Put him in the backfield every now and then. I don't think that many teams are going to go full-fledged Debo, but we've seen with the Chargers with Keenan Allen too. put your best route runner in the backfield and run, I call it the angle route, people call it a Texas route. Run that route against the linebacker. It's free real estate. Anthony, I agree. I would like them to be more creative when it comes to getting the ball in their playmakers' hands. Boondock Saint, behind Dalton Schultz, looks like our tight end number 2 and 3. I think ideally Jake Ferguson ends up emerging as tight end 2 for this team. Jeremy Sprinkle, Sean McEwen, in no particular order, will also be battling for that backup tight end role. It'll be a key position battle to continue to watch. From Janky, why not dump Schultz and sign Gronk? It's not that simple. A, Schultz has signed his franchise tag, so you can't cut him. He's got a fully guaranteed salary because he signed his tender, so you save nothing. You actually eat money by cutting him. Beyond that, I think it's this point for Gronk, who is very much at the end of his career. It is Tampa or bust for Gronkowski. He didn't play as many snaps because he's aging. He's not the same blocker he was in his prime either. Gronk is Gronk, no disrespect, but for 2021, there's no way Gronk's coming to Dallas. It's Tampa or bust for him. I would not consider him a realistic free agent name. So what I want you to do now is name a realistic free agent who you guys want to go out and sign. Let me know in the comments section. Jimmy Rogers, trade Jordan Lewis for Asante Samuel Jr. Hell yeah. Chargers ain't doing that. I loved Asante Samuel coming out of Florida State. The Cowboys did not like him because of their length requirements for corners. He was awesome in year 1 for the Chargers. Not a chance LA considers that trade. Bailey Gordon, do we trust Matt Waletzko and McGovern? As linemen 6 and 7? Maybe. I will make note that line play in the NFL sucks. It's not good. It's really bad across the board in the NFL, which is always important to consider. But I would be maybe more worried about Waletzko as my swing tackle since he's a 5th-round rookie. That's the spot that worries me since we have to assume that Tyron Smith will miss time this year. From Kevin Cobb, hey Tom, when is Gallup expected to return? Timeline's not super clear at this point. You're hoping you would love week 1. That seems unlikely. I could see, week 3, week 4 with the new IR rules, or week 6 even. It's going to have to be a wait-and-see situation for Gallup, and I think patience is important here. I'm the weird person with an Android, so what type of phone do you guys have? I for iPhone, A for Android. iPhone users are very pretentious and hateful of Android users, Jeremy, but this is a safe space to answer. I for iPhone or A for Android. What phone do you guys have? From Bossman Fat, will I get suspended this year? Maybe. Who knows? The NFL's disciplinary process is not fast by any stretch of the imagination. They will let actually answer the question. They will let the legal system play out, and that case is not over. Make no mistake about it. That's going to continue to get kind of dragged out, I think. So for now, no suspension. There could be one. There could not be one. Who knows? It's like the Wheel of Fortune. You spin it, and who knows what the suspension discipline comes up with. Pat Riley, who was the 1967 Cowboys 11th round draft pick. Wasn't it just Pat Riley? Isn't that the answer? I'm pulling it up, by the way, to actually answer the question. Count it for me. It was Pat Riley. It was too real of a name. I'm like, wait a minute. There we go. Count it for me because you gave it away with your name. All right, Aladdin Magic. How will they do without Cooper? I am worried. Amari, when he was out there, was an awesome football player. And in general, I don't like getting rid of awesome football players because they're good. You need Gallup to get healthy. You need Lamb to take a step forward. And you need Jalen Tolbert to quickly be a key part of your offense. And somebody else to step up when Gallup's injury absence. James Washington or somebody else sooner than later. If we did not get your question answered, I'm sorry, but we're on Twitter, or I'm on Twitter as well. Hit me up. My DMs are open at What going, Downey. So if your question wasn't answered, fire me a DM, and I'll respond as soon as I actually have time. We're going to go ahead and end our live stream here on both YouTube and on Facebook. By the way, Jeremy, we have $69.96 in Super Chat revenue. I screenshot. We have to do a shot, though. On Rumble, we have to do a shot. Like, there's no doubt about that. We have to do it. Like, that's too great of an opportunity to not do a shot. Yeah. All right, so if you're watching on Facebook and on YouTube, you have a very limited amount of time to get over to Rumble as soon as Jeremy finishes up with the shots here, getting those ready. We're going to be Rumble only for Cowboys Report after hours. That link is in the live chat. Great job, Trace, getting it in there. I already see Don Bishop and Bobby Hass and Sack77, etc. in there in the live chat on Rumble. Thank you guys so much. There we go, Chugs. I don't want the Fireball. I want the Jack Daniels. Gonna overserve them again, like I did last time, with heavy pours. Yeah, YouTube won't let us anymore, so sometimes they get mad at us. It's a good pour. All right, go ahead and kill it on Facebook and... Oh, that's not closed. On Facebook and on YouTube. Cowboys Report After Hours going down right now on Rumble only.